really hard.
It's really hard, but at least because of how much the Batrider is spamming you, you just go a stick early on as opposed to the bottle, and you try and harass him back with the overload procs and the static remnant.
Kind of greedy. Yeah,
It is.
A lot of heroes that like to farm.
Yeah, but T1 made it work.
Yeah. Yep.
Just play that selfless style again. Rotate around with your Grimstroke and your Rubik in particular towards the Beastmaster's lane. Look to get a few kills. You've got decent tower push if you've got that Beastmaster available. I think it's doable, but it is heavily skill dependent. But if there's a guy that can make it work, it's Yopaj.
Yeah, I don't know. I look at the mid pool, I see like a lot of open bad. Like Lash, like Invoker, like Wind Ranger, whatever, but like into bat, it kind of narrows everything down. It makes your life so hard. Yeah, Storm
Spirit.
Good luck. Yopaj, my man. You got it, homie.
Yeah, he's gonna need to, because this is a rough one for sure.
It is a rough one.
With these drafts now completed, do you think Yopaj is going to be able to? Do you favor Boom to come out in game 2?
I want to see a game 3, so yeah, sure, let's go Boom.
That was so loud in my ear.
I refuse. Therefore, I can't be.
No, you're going to be wrong if you don't pick. You're wrong immediately.
Okay, I think this bat is gonna.
Probably.
I think T1 is.
Okay, so we're divided.
No.
Sure, let's go with that.
Let's hope so.
Well, hopefully the game isn't divided, and hopefully our casters aren't divided either, as we do head over to Gods and Lizard.
Do you love me?
Hello? Mic test, 1, 2, 3. It's time! T1 versus Boom! Sorry, I had to do my best voice line imitation there. I'm Gods, joining me is Lizard, and we've got ourselves game number 2. We're going to see if the Yopaj Storm has what it takes. Carl, though, playing the Batrider. We give a lot of attention to Yopaj Lizard, but we've got to say, Carl, he's up there. He's definitely on that same tier of mid laners when it comes to the SEA region.
Yeah, he is. Yopaj in that last game, though, it felt like he wasn't doing as many mistakes, perhaps, as Carl, but it swings from one side to the other, right? It's a pendulum, depending on who has a better start, a better game, a better hero for the circumstances, is usually who looks stronger at the moment. But Carl is possibly for Yopaj sort of a senior, right? Like he's been around a bit longer, definitely.
Yeah. Yep. Well, we'll see what Carl can do here. I mean, I guess to touch a bit more on that mid matchup, I mean, do you think the Storm was the right answer to the Batrider, or the right response? I don't think it's meant to counter the Bat, but do you like the pick?
No, I do. Like, we were discussing the draft, and Storm looked like a normal answer to all of their heroes. Specifically the Bat, I would say, right? The lane versus Bat isn't easy for most heroes, and Storm, Quap, maybe a few others actually should do well against him, so they grab themselves a Storm. And when you look at the lineup of T1, later on you have Lasso, but everything else is kind of easy for Storm to deal with, right? Like, X marks the spot, you can just bow Lightning as long as you have enough mana. Denying the ward. Oh,
you
got it.
They saw it get planted, and they did end up getting the deny.
Yeah, now they need to de-ward as well this one, and perfect start for T1. But
30 you don't have a sign.
You told me that they play a lot of 23 Savage Kunkka. Well, a few Kunkka games at least in that carry room. Do you like it?
I like Kunkka as a hero because you can flex it early on. I think seeing the Beastmaster pick, you generally want to have something that's not going to get overrun. Like, there's a few heroes that seem to be good against the Beast. If you can get the Ench support, Kunkka carry, the PA has looked pretty good. So I think given the Beastmaster pick, I do like it this game.
The battle begins.
Do you think that there may be on the side of T1 on a little bit of a timer at least? Like,
yeah, I would agree with that.
Your future is cruel.
And they're even picking a lot of these heroes for this lane. I would like. I see CM Tree, and at least to me, I don't know if you agree. These seem more like these more early game supports.
Oh yeah, I agree completely. I love Treant. I feel that this hero is underrated. Like, there's so many different, well, not too many different builds, but you can definitely make him do wonders in the laning stage with maxing out Nature's Grasp and Leech Seed. But together with the Crystal Maiden, feel more like 2 5s than a real 4 on their side.
See how these 5s do. Whitemon is the CM specialist. The 6 mangoes. I'm just going to spam you for days whenever possible. Use those Novas to harass, to kill boars. Going to make Boom's life a little bit more difficult up here on the top.
Yeah, the plan is just to kill off all the boards, right? To dish out as much damage to them, to make that Kunkka and perhaps finish them off with the Tidebringer.
Courier snipes from Skem. Some pesky stuff to make this lane a little bit more difficult, and it is, return of this OD. It didn't look too good in the last series. Fnatic were able to come up with some answers for it, but OD as a whole has looked, very good across all regions, being one of the more popular heroes. Do you feel like they've got the heroes to deal with an OD down here?
Yeah, I feel that they do. I think that PA is one of the better heroes. All of these heroes that can get on top of you easily are usually good versus OD. So PA is one of those. You are playing versus... there you go. You see, like, the amount of damage that they're able to dish out is huge. The only problem is they don't have level 2 on Scam. Once they get that Inkswell, then it becomes even more difficult.
You should have known.
Okay. See if this lane is potential for Boom to find themselves any early kills, first bloods, or the likes. But it's mid lane where we have to keep our eyes a little bit because, these two heroes are going to be up in each other's faces. Yopaj happy to fight with the sticky napalm charges on him because he's getting so much sustain from this first item Magic Wand. Oh, is thinking about a chase. Has a flame breakers. Carl going for this one. 8 sticky charges. Gets the flame break. Pulls him into the tower. Who's going to get this kill first? Pops the fairy fire. One more right click. Carl goes down. First blood Yopaj. We asked the question who's picking in the mid lane. And for now, it's Yopaj.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that he went for that. Like, this is literally why you pick Storm into a Bat Rider, because you cannot dive the Storm Spirit. If you dive him 9 out of 10 times, that's gonna happen. So, yeah, he definitely tried to push the limit a little bit there and get punished.
Well, they're also perhaps trying to punish down bottom lane, keeping Cuckoo out of this bottom lane. Whenever they can get that little jump, get some harass off, the blink in with the Inkswell. Until that OD gets a Meteor Hammer, it feels like this lane could be a little bit of a struggle.
Dire's structures are fortified.
It comes down to the tree as well, how close he is with the Leech Seed. You have to be careful because if you do go on the OD and then he escapes with something like Astral Imprisonment, they can turn on you. Like Leech Seed level 2 or Nature's Grasp level 2. It's a lot of damage that can be dished out by T1.
Carl comes back mid, gets 10 stickies on Yopaj, but doesn't find any opening to Flame Break, which means Yopaj is just getting free 1 charges here. Kind of free regen for him. His lane going great, but elsewhere, top lane where FPZ gets the kill onto Whitemon, so find the opening there with Tim's initiation.
Nice one. Level 3 on the Beastmaster. The moment you get that, level 2 boars.
Were you watching?
Slow becomes kind of difficult for a Crystal Maiden to deal with. She's tipping mid though.
In mid. Yep, they think they've got the kill on the Storm, and sure as hell looks like it, but Yopaj is forced to turn and fight. Can he bring down the Bat Rider with him? He doesn't get a second remnant off in time, so they get the kill. Tims will deny the rune top, but there is a rune waiting bottom for Carl. Nice rotation from Whitemon.
Yeah, really nice. Even the fact that he TP'd straight into the lane, so Storm could see it, but he couldn't really react to it. That's why they're
not
perfect
done mid.
flame break.
Yeah, Carl has been using this flame break to get hit. That's why they can just TP in plain sight, because Carl will put you out of position, and the CM a great hero to follow it up with a Crystal Nova.
Yeah, and when you think about the safe lane, it's a Kunkka, right? So Crystal Maiden, you can abandon your carry if he's a Kunkka. Like, he's not gonna get owned.
This'll come in handy.
Good news for T1 using the early game strength of this CM to help shore up what was initially a bad lane. Like, Carl was getting bested by Yopaj, the solo kill, and even just this outfarm in the CS advantage heavily favoring the Storm Spirit. So do you feel like they're gonna have to keep rotating to deal with Yopaj, or is this game going better already for Carl?
I think you rescued Carl's lane, and this is the time to rotate. Whitemon is in, because Yopaj is about to get level 6. Once he gets that 6, like, rotations become kinda impossible. So, yeah, this is it. Like, he got it. Now, I don't know how you kill him any longer. He really has to do something very aggressive to die with.
Yeah, if he dies, uses up his mana, which, you know, it is Yopaj. This guy loves to make those aggressive moves, and any chance he gets to go for a kill, he's often going to take it, so... I think
Carl,
T1
right now, he needs to start spamming those tips or waves.
Yeah. Just try and get in his head, make him think, okay, I want to kill this guy. And they are, you know, White One's just sitting behind this tower, trying to wait for an opening to go in. It is 6 minutes though, and both mid laners are waiting for that rune to spawn. And it will be a haste spawning up top, so Yopaj able to grab himself. Nice little power rune.
Rubik was the luckier one when it comes to checking out which rune is gonna spawn, and yeah, all of the supports are literally just playing around mid lane. Okay, Zephyr now leads, goes down bottom a little bit. I feel like Cuckoo perhaps is the happiest out of all of this, because his lane as an offlaner wasn't that easy, and now he's getting a bit more space.
Do you love me?
Astro down bottom, but no real follow-up, so... Both teams happy to kind of poke and prod here. It feels like moves are going to happen though when these offliners get their items. The Meteor Hammer and the Helm, which has now come out for FBZ, these are the items which feel like they enable that pressure onto the offlane tower. So unlike last game where like no towers dropped at 15 minutes, there seems to probably be a bit more focus on taking objectives early this game.
Yeah, for sure. Especially Boom with the Beastmaster, right? His whole game plan literally is to take down objectives early on, use that roar for a pick-off, and then continue taking objectives. So something similar on the other side, like you said, Cuckoo. With the Meteor Hammer, it kind of depends though if the rotations happen from the Storm Spirit, because he can get punished here. It's like OD, when you're picking him on offlane, I feel like you really need to have a proper setup around him, prevent any aggression. Okay, Zephyr and Scam. Scam a bit weak here.
They go on the Cuckoo, who gets stunned up, but Yopaj doesn't want to follow it up, and if anything, it's T1 who they'll bring numbers, make sure that they can kind of secure their own jungle stacks.
Just not enough damage. 950 HP, 7 armor.
Gets off the... That was nice. Using the Vortex there. Carl was about to lasso him after the Frostbite ended, but Yopaj stopped it with the Vortex. Smart play.
He's really on point with all of these spirits. I've seen him so many times do something like that, right? Like that one moment of clarity when he's about to die to save himself with some play.
Dips him with the Inkswell. Does he have the damage here? The Treant trying to keep him alive with the living armor, and the pig pole away. Carl will survive through it. Not enough damage again. There seems to be a bit of a recurring theme for Boom, is just lacking a bit of damage output.
Yeah, I feel that perhaps Storm needs to be the one that rotates, and they shouldn't be rotating around Storm. Because if he does that, then you'll have two cores at the same spot, right? Like maybe a Beastmaster Roar plus the Storm. You can take off, you can perhaps even kill the Kunkka. Or if he rotates bottom with the PA, maybe you can kill the OD. Just the Storm and Grimstroke, I don't think that's happening.
Is that something that's going to persist throughout this kind of early to mid game? Is this like like not having enough damage? Like, are they going to be relying on a farm PA to kind of carry them later on, or are they? Is that problem going to solve itself with some more leverage?
Well, they don't necessarily have these big nukes, right? Like heroes that, well, like a Snapfire that brings that. But if they bring the numbers, they should have enough damage. Like on the top lane, we can see exactly that happening. Storm is rotating in. Yeah. We have that roar.
We don't just want to let this one go with an armlet Kunkka. Some pushing power.
Touché.
They X back in. White one doesn't get the frostbite up in time, so will be Boom being pushed back, and Yopaj seeing the Kunkka and the defense of this top lane is just going to TP out of there. So Boom is just back to farming. They say, no, we can't do it. Sorry, Beastmaster.
It's alright because you forced 4 men to rotate. At the same time, Grimstroke, not only was he defending mid and getting farm, he was at the same time making a big stack in the Radiant jungle, and that's what this drawing is about. Now Yopaj goes there, probably farms it. That's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stack. I haven't seen a big camp like this one in a long time. On this spot, at least.
Yeah, it's usually over in the triangle, so perhaps intentional by Boom, making sure that you know, they don't stack in the obvious places and Batrider comes in or Kunkka to kind of steal all that money. So nice little pick-me-up for Yopaj, who was doing just fine. It's the Kunkka who's kind of stormed ahead in terms of net worth. 23 Savage at this top lane just feels like this impenetrable force that's just keeping this top tier 1 tower alive.
Yeah, and they were making some stacks for himself as well. There's this trick with Kunkka in which you stack the medium camp and the small camp, and then he just cleaves through them, which is, I believe, what they were doing in this game. So, propelling him on that number 1 network spot. Stomp.
Are Boom okay with this game like slowing down? Because usually Beastmaster drafts want to kind of push the tempo, but given that they've got this PA Storm, does this game kind of go okay for them at a slower pace?
Yeah, I believe that's the case. Like usually, like you said, I completely agree with everything. I'm just gonna shut up now for 1 minute in order to just...
Radiant's top
I'm
tower
asking.
is under attack.
I'm not sure.
No, I think that you're right. Like you have this PA. She's not truly a hero until she has like a BKB deputy. There's a mobile comp.
With the Tim's Rubik, and Carl gets picked off going for some jungle farm.
Love me.
Punch this though. Yopaj needs to get out. The X has caught him. The ghost ship fall off. He's going to get pulled back in just a second. He tries to ball lightning, but it's not going to work. Does get it off the EX. He's out of mana here, but can T1 catch up to him? Yopaj is still alive for now, and it looks like Tim's is willing to kind of throw away his life if it means his Storm surviving. And they may not even get the Rubik here. They do manage to finally catch up to him with the X. I'll pull him back in for a torrent, so him's the sacrificial lamb to keep Yopaj alive.
Yeah, really nicely played by him over there. If you're Boom, you're extremely satisfied with just what just occurred. Like you killed the OD at the same time Yopaj survives.
Painted into a corner.
Down by Carl, so nice little quick kill for him. Both mid laners kind of getting aggressive early on. Yopaj invading enemy triangle. Batrider making some solo kills.
Stupendous!
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, overall, I think that Boom is okay with this. While all that was happening, the top tier 1 tower as well got taken out. So, if you're Boom, you're fine. PA is farming, you're getting some space
Radiant
on the map.
structures are fortified.
It's important to take down some towers early on because you're playing into a tree as well. So, Scam.
TP bottom. They want to defend this tower. Scam got scouted by the tree protector as he TP'd in though, and that may be keeping it more though. They want to defend it. Goes for a soulbind. Is the follow-up going to be there? Yopaj has made his TP down here with multiple other heroes making their move as well. Charges the front line, gets the Royal Starting Bomb. That's on the Kunkka. Have they got the damage to this one with the Overgrowth? Storm gets locked in place as well. This is not looking good for Boom. They haven't got the numbers here. It's a 5-man T1 push down bottom, and they killed 3, looking for 4. Looks like Tim's is going to take a spill. And it's only up to Yopaj to get out of this one. He's got plenty of mana to ball lightning away, as long as he doesn't get too greedy.
Yeah, Parker, I don't know, man.
Not a fan of what just happened.
Yeah, I'm really not a big fan of what Boom just did. Like, TPing in like that to defend the tower when your hero has already fallen, you know that most of them are around, they're taking it right, they're pressuring the tower. Like, even if you defend it, which could be alright for you, but even if that happens, why? Like your whole map is literally open for Beastmaster, for Storm, for PA to farm up. It's like this is one of the hardest towers to defend anyway. Yopaj goes in.
They got the Astral off though, so Inksaw not gonna land, and Yopaj has to back off. Cuckoo, he's been trying to chase him with the Tumbler toy.
I literally thought that they were gonna just sack Grimstroke and that's it. Like Scam, he's a position 5 Grim, that's his job. Go down there and try to delay the push a little bit, right? PA top lane.
Yeah, this is a big kill if they can get it. Boom need to rotate support quick because Carl is showing up, and with the lasso they've got more than enough damage to get this kill. T1 is just making all the right moves, and perhaps part of that is, as you kind of been touching on, is that Boom also maybe walking into them and making the wrong moves.
I truly feel that right now the positioning on the map from Boom is not correct. They had a couple of really nice plays. The last one was the pick off on the Batrider, but ever since then, like they haven't utilized the free farm and free space on the map that they've been given by T1, that they made for themselves. That is.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And now it's completely in T1's hands. Look at this, they're pressuring down bottom, took out the tower, now they're down mid.
Yeah, with this Batrider having a blink dagger, they've got that catch that can
Radiant
cause
structures
all kinds
are
of problems for Boom if they want to defend these towers. They do find the ward behind the mid tier 1, so
Radiant's
that makes this
middle
defense
tower
a
is under
little
attack.
bit better for them, but it's still so hard to get in there. Creatures just dealing with the tower, and meanwhile the Beastmaster, they get the roar down this stride. They're going to look to bring down the Batrider. He gets helped out by the Outlaws, keeping alive a little bit longer. The Ghost Ship kind of fly on in Nova, keeping him alive with a living armor a bit longer, but the Storm finishes off the kill. Yopaj dives in deep, just needs to get out with enough mana. Keeping on over is the Crystal Maiden. Whitemon thought he could maybe punish Yopaj being low on mana, but didn't
This'll come in handy.
TP in time.
Glorious things.
Cuckoo wasn't really that
Bounty.
close, so he wasn't able to save the Batrider a little bit sooner. Like if that Astral comes in a little bit sooner, I'm sure that they could at least save the Batrider, but yeah. This way they lose their mid laner. They do take down the tier 1 tower on the mid lane, so not all is bad for them, but could have been better. Meanwhile, Boom, they get a fresh breath of fresh air, as Tino did complete that Battle Fury, so he can get that bonus farm now for himself.
Yeah. And something I think you said coming into this game out of the draft is that, to a certain extent, maybe T1 on a bit of a timer against the late game PA and Storm. Where does that, like, as far as that timer goes, how soon do they need to be making those big moves to take towers, take Roshan, etc.?
I feel like they need to be doing this all the time. The more you punish Boom early on, the better you'll be set to fight off PA once she gets her big items. So you want to make as big of a gap in net worth as you can before that happens.
Point. Neck and neck, only a less than 1k gold lead for T1 there. Trying to make their next couple of plays here. This Kunkka is very far ahead of all the other cores in this game. So even though the gold is close between the two
Dire's
teams,
top tower
Kunkka
is under attack.
is one where they've invested a lot of resources.
Yeah, he's the one that carries pretty much everything. Right? Storm zipping in.
Carl did manage to blink into Bottle the Rune just in time. I think they maybe realized what the Storm was up to there when they made sure they grabbed that rune before the Storm could. Astro the Savage, he gets off the Ghost Ship here just to give himself some run buff. But getting away is Tim's for now. X-Pac is going to form in a little bit closer, but the Soulbinder is easy there with the double silence. They're going to turn double roar as well. Having on the hammer to kill this Kunkka, the Storm the ball as well, but the Overgrowth may keep Savage alive a little bit longer. Has the armor as well as that defensive Astro keep alive. Nice lasso counter initiation from Carl. They're going to punish Yopaj for his aggression. 23 Savage gets bailed out by the save. And they're not done. They're chasing, they're hunting. They smell Boom heroes and they want to hunt them down and slice them up. Rubik TP's out just in time, but FBZ, he's out of there.
Dire's middle
So they feel like the
is
Storm
under
and the
attack.
Grimstroke.
I feel like FBZ, that whole fight wasn't showing his face. He was just hiding in the trees, using his roar once, and that's pretty much about it. You can see just how much sustain they've got on side of T1 because of the Treant armor, obviously, that's maxed out. The rum buff as well is there, so it's not easy to take down these heroes. You really need these gotcha moments where Storm zips in with the Inkswell and finishes off the target before they can react. If you don't do that, you don't have full potential.
Lively now.
Maybe it would have worked if this Kunkka wasn't so damn farmed. The fact he's like, he was level 15, I think, for that fight, now level 16. With all these items sitting on like 3,000 health with this armlet toggled on, it is a hard kill for Boom to get.
He's a tough cookie to break.
T1 to get a bit of a bigger gold lead here. Grabbing the rune is 23 Savage, knowing that he can't really be gone on. Batrider's kind of not going for these runes because he knows he's much more vulnerable. But they're going to smoke up with this double damage and look to invade Boom's triangle here. Right into Yopaj, doesn't get caught by anything. The blue lasso catches him before he can respond. Ball of Overgrowth should be enough to bring him down, and Boom They lose a second here. The Astral Meteor Hammer crashing in onto Skem's Grimstroke. That's going to be 2 quick kills for T1. And you said it, Roche.
Yep, I feel like they will shoot in. T1 again. Like I can see their eagerness to kill off the storm. So Kyle jumps in, forces the storm spirit away, but 23 Savage at the same time X marks the spot. So I felt that there is even a chance for Storm to survive with all the stars aligned for him. Sadly for Kyle, it doesn't happen.
Not the easiest of Roche. It's taking a little bit of time, but without the storm, they can't really make any big plays to stop it from happening. Nice defensive Astral, going to stop the Tim's X from pulling somebody back in. Haven't seen quite the Rubik impact would maybe hope. I think the panel touched on game 1. His Rubik presence wasn't making those big steals and big plays. Down bottom, Tina in some trouble. Carl is kind of found and farming in the jungle. Storm zipping him from afar. But Carl falls out away, gets himself back from Whitemon. CM who's going to go for a freezing field with the frostbite. Yopaz needs to either ball in or out. He gets the vortex to cancel the freezing field, so
in the back,
he keeps himself alive. But yeah, in the back lines, they've lost the support again. Grimstroke, Skem just so hard to play into this T1 draft. They have so much catch and so many different ways of punishing him.
It feels that the team that has Storm is always the one being a little bit too aggressive. Like Storm Spirit notices a target and just completely goes. Not everyone has Ball Lightning, man.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So it's a bit for the team that Paco's in, as that region.
Regeneration.
Dagger.
Looking for a torrent, but not going to land. Cuckoo, yeah, doesn't have the blink, but what he has got is an Aghanim Scepter, so getting that extra charge of Astral Imprisonment. That means he can use, can use it offensively and defensively in these fights if he wants to.
I feel that most of the time you want to use it on the target that gets roared, so
under attack.
FPZ. Sentry.
Into them. Either way, they get their roar to start things off on the Conquer, but with the 2-hero overgrowth, boom, this is, they're outnumbered here. There's no chance to fight their way through this one. Whitemon gets low, but
pretty much. They are reaching that point in the game in which Tino can start joining team fights. He has that attitude. From this point onwards, he might join a fight or two. But at this point, we're playing into an Aegis, so I guess the best way is to just wait for it to run out and fight afterwards.
is there ways that T1 can itemize
Radiant's
to kind
top
of
tower is under attack.
prevent this PA from like being this big scary late game carry?
Oh yeah, 100%. The same way they
Radiant's
itemized against
top
PL in the
tower.
last game, with
Radiant's top tower
Shivas and
is under
Radiance.
attack.
You itemize with Silver Edge, AC, armor items versus PA, and it looks like that's exactly what RPG Savage is doing.
Jumping in, Tino, you mentioned wanting to fight with his BKB timing. He can't keep tabs of Zephyr though. He goes in, and that may keep him alive. Whitemon using that Shadow Amulet to save out his buddy here, but Kunkka leashed up in the front lines, not really the best of targets because of that Aegis, and they're going to have to back off with the BKB of Tino wearing off, and pulled back in is the Rubik. Astral and the Hammer. No real escape for him. Dishes out some good damage before going down, but boom, can't find a good fight for themselves.
I feel like he's the one that used the imprisonment on the Batrider, keeping him away from lassoing the PA, which rescued her. So Tim's, even though it feels like perhaps he doesn't have as much impact because he's dying, it's usually sacrificial, so he saves the core.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
We might try to go here on the old Pageant scan, but
They've got a TP on their PA, but the now PA is going
Radiant's
to
top
continue
tower
farming down
has
bottom,
fallen.
and boom, don't make any kind of aggressive move out to defend their top tier 1 tower.
she didn't have a BKB anyway, right? And moved down bottom to continue farming, but there's a Silver Edge completed on Savage.
The hunt is on. They found Beastmaster. 23 Savage with that Shadow Blade. Gets the X out, gets Roar, but FBZ nonetheless will be pulled back in, Roar or no Roar.
Dire's structures are fortified.
I feel that T1 are doing everything right at the moment. Like they're playing the game exactly how they should be. Top lane kills, Lasso.
They're just playing the entire map, getting killed wherever they can, and he's even dropping items in front of him. Carl is feeling himself.
Is it mental intelligence, though?
He's not quite elevated himself to that level of BM yet, but perhaps the silver line for Boom is their first kill in quite some time. Scam, well, it's been a rough one for him. 0 and 8, about to become 0 and 9.
Deep six.
As this poor Grimstroke just doesn't have an answer for these heroes that just keep jumping on top of him.
Yeah, that first game definitely looked much better for Boom, and I feel that the strategy in which they're the ones aggressing, they're the ones that are constantly making moves, fits them way better than this one in which they have to wait for their carry to come online to start making things happen. And Tino is only 300 gold away from that Dezo, so that has to be the point in which you start fighting back.
This feels really hard when you look at all these defensive tools on the T1 side, plus all these ways to pierce through the BKB. They've got Overgrowth and Lasso, and then they've got the saves from the Astrals. It's like this PA is going to have to rely also on his teammates to actually control some of these heroes.
Over here now.
And the Silver Edge now is there as well. I feel that both of these teams do have what it takes to take a solid team fight. It's all about who starts the fight a little bit better. Like perhaps Storm, Inksoul, jumping GOD would be a good way to start it. Just preventing Cuckoo from using all those imprisonments, right? Like, also, do you have BKB? You don't have BKB on your class, so that's an additional problem. That Overgrowth can just completely destroy you.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's
Farm
bottom
his way
tower
up to it
has
before
fallen.
the next fight breaks out. Potential Roshan in 2 minutes time, sometime after that. So last time T1 happy to kind of play around that and also actively use smokes to kind of secure that vision around the pit. They smoke up now. See if they look to hunt down some of these Boom
Dire's
heroes
top
and
tower is under
make their
attack.
presence known in this top lane. It looks like
Step
23
lively
Savage,
now.
as per
Your
usual,
admiral
leading
is
the
on
charge.
board.
Invised up, looking for that catch. They see someone else. I think they figure out where Tino is. They're pinging him. Where this PA might be.
Gold from
They're
my
fishing. They're going to
chest.
go for the D ward first. I think PA will manage to use that blur effectively to not get caught though.
Yeah, very important for him to keep as many BKB charges as possible at this point. Like the first one that he used didn't really net him a kill.
Dire's middle
Going for a
tower is
CM,
under
but
attack.
this is no ordinary CM. Raindrops, Glimmer Cave. And now the Frostbite into Freezing Field. Can they bring down this Storm with a Ghost Ship and an Overgrowth? You betcha. Scam will also not be able to TP out. The Frostbite is there to cancel it. And it's
Carl.
bottom lane where Carl's even finding a kill.
Yeah, he's going for more. Cuckoo is there with the Blink Dagger. Can he? No, that's just a boar. But
Dire's
Savage
middle
may
tower
catch
is under
Tino.
attack.
Ooh, that was close. He was casting X when Tino blinked to the high ground.
Step lively now.
almost the catch on the PA as well. If you're T1 at the moment, I think you take over the triangle, you wait for that Roshan to respawn, you've pretty much taken almost every
Radiant's
single
middle tower
tier 2
is under
tower,
attack.
and you just cut waves, right? Like every single tier 2 tower. They took one, like out of 3. Good logic from me, but yeah.
As long as you got one, that's all you need.
Yeah. A little bit of hyperbole there. No one's gonna notice.
So, what do you see is like for Boom? I mean, they've got the tools maybe to take a fight. They execute well. Do they need to go in the aggressive, or is it more like sit back and turtle it up?
I feel that at the moment, that's the only thing that they can do, because they don't have the BKB on Storm. And this is the problem with these kind of drafts, right? Mid lane, Kunkka, he's...
And they throw out the roll. Have they got the damage for this one? There's a living armor blocking a lot of this damage coming in. The defensive Astral comes from Cuckoo. Took a while to be there, but it's going to keep the Kunkka alive, who now gets a chance to BKB out of the Astral. Catches the Ruby with an exit to a Ghost Ship, and with the cleave him through 23 damage, he's going to eat the supports alive, including FBZ, who's not actually support, even though he looks like one. Scam's Grimstroke doesn't stand a chance as they've caught one more. Astral, the Meteor, it's the PA, Tino, in some trouble, the Overgrowth's going to go into the Astral. Okay, with the Sanity's Eclipse, they blow up Tino's PA, and all Storm can do is zip back to his fountain. Boom just
Radiant's
getting
middle tower
overrun
is
and
under
overwhelmed by T1.
Yeah, 23 Savage, he just literally ran uphill.
Radiant's middle tower has
He
fallen.
was in the middle of 4 heroes and they still couldn't take him down.
Radiant's middle
But
tower
partly due to
has
Cuckoo just
fallen.
being on spot with the Astral Imprisonment, but also partly with the fact that Boom just cannot fight at this point. Like, you always need one more item, and that's what makes it kind of bad playing in a draft such as this one, in which, yeah, PA needs that BKB Battle Fury, but once she gets that, suddenly you're not strong enough anyway because you're 17k behind. Your carry was never during the fight, so you couldn't contribute. You couldn't on Yopaj, and now he needs that one item.
Yeah, damned if you don't have to go for the defensive items to stay alive, but then you lack the damage to kill the tanky front line. Particularly when they've got all these saves here, and well, this front line is now going to consist of a Carl Bat with an Octarine Throw, finding another pick-off. Boom supports, miserable time for them. They've got 19 deaths between the two of them, and just unable to find a way to impact this mid-game.
Now, if you're Grimstroke and Rubik, how do you itemize in this game? A Blink Dagger, it's not gonna help you versus X marks the spot, and if you just show yourself a little bit in the lane, you know that there could be a Silver Edge X or a Batrider jumping on you, lassoing you, which is what has been happening, so...
Radiant's top
game
tower
for them,
is under
really.
attack. Are scanning.
Itemization, that's just not a word that Skep knows right now. He's got
Radiant's
Tranquil
top
Boots.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a nice play that they're attempting to do on
Radiant's top
bottom
tower is under
with
attack.
FEZ, like...
Dire's structures are
Batrider?
fortified.
I think they know that Dire scanned it. They seem to have an idea of what's going on. Yeah, they're going to go hunting for these heroes. Batrider will cancel FPZ going to be the first to fall. Storm trying to get away, using up a lot of his mana. He'll get back to base safely.
Like it looked like a decent plan from Boom. Let's hide the Beastmaster in the trees, but push out with boars and axes so they go to hunt, right? You know that he's somewhere in the trees. Meanwhile, we're gonna smoke around him and make that next level bait. Sadly, like everyone just starts sleeping with travels, and you can't even get one pick off.
Boom going to find themselves in a very unfamiliar position. They're back up against a wall. Even just dropping, they were yet to drop a game for the DPC before the series there. Gone. You're gonna lose the OD, that's the save. Okay, nice find. Unfortunately for Boom, they're still like, they're not strong enough that they can then like turn this 5v4 into a follow-up fight. They don't want to fight into this double damage Kunkka, but it's still a kill nonetheless.
Yeah, I feel like this kind of a kill prevents T1 from pushing any further, and it delays the game a little bit, and this is exactly what they need to be doing. This OD needs to be the first one that you kill. If you can kill the OD, I believe that at least you have a shot at taking a fight. If you don't kill him, you're just gonna get run over. Maybe you get run over anyway, but yeah.
Savage going mid. Down for Skim on the Grimstroke. This is the X-Torrent combo. I think he was a bit unsure about initiating in. He does realize there's more than meets the eye to this quick presence in the mid lane. They go once again. Batrider does get a chance to get out of there. Instantly buys back. They want to punish this one. Kino's already committed his BKB, so he just wants out. FBD's Beastmaster, well, he's on the front lines and he's sacrificed to make sure that they can kind of cut their losses. Gem, well, familiar sight for him, gonna get picked off in the front. But elsewhere it is Tim on the Rubik. The support's just... Yeah, tough lane, tough game.
It even looked good, right, for Boom. First they got the OD, then they got the Batrider as well. It didn't look that bad. They started making some decent moves, but when you're this far behind, 20k, 34 minutes in,
Radiant's
it's just so difficult to do any kind of play without getting punished.
is under attack.
This feels like they can do these like cute pick and run kind of plays, like Storm cutting his waves, but at the end of the day, how do you address this 23 Savage Kunkka? And it feels like the answer is just a resounding no, you can't address him. There is no way with how far ahead he is.
Are under attack.
Yeah, at this point, exactly. No way. I think this argument is really might change things. I don't really feel that way as well.
Yeah, it's often been the go-to. All these SEA players love to play PA and go for this Axe build, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be... It might be a Rapier game or something, Lizard.
Yeah, I would rather even see that, you know, get that one item that completely changes. It's a risky one, but it changes your win condition, and suddenly you can kill anyone. Still though, I have faith in Boom if they are able to pick off the OD at this time. And OD could change that by buying something okay on this.
Not much he can do to get out, and every time it feels like he's getting caught, everyone's like, let's run the other way. It's very indicative of where this game stands, that Skem gets caught out and every other Boom hero is like, let's run the other side of the map, because we now know where T1 are, so we can go farm elsewhere.
But it looks like Carl knows where they are as well.
Dire's top tower
maybe
is
not.
under attack.
An idea, but he's just gonna go farm up some jungle camps, it seems.
Yeah, he tried to scout out the Beastmaster,
Dire's top
but
tower is
wasn't
under
able.
attack.
Poor T1 supports, they don't even get to use the Philosopher's Stone. This Bat Rider, you know, saying, that's mine.
You know it's bad when you're winning this hard, like 24k ahead,
Step
and
lively
you're not
now.
even
Your
given the
admiral is on
Philosopher's
board.
Stone. Really puts you in your place as a support player. You know,
Dire's
like come
top
on,
tower
man.
has
Do
been
I even
denied.
matter what's happening?
It's like, there's a hierarchy, like, you know, you're a C, when it comes to like support, CM is on like the bottom of the hierarchy, even within the supports, you know, no one wants to give that like 280 movement speed low at CM any love, unfortunately.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of the same with the Treant, right? And why do you need it? Bro, just go AFK in the fountain, spam your living armor. we don't truly need you.
Yeah, they've got these heroes, the Arcane Aura and the Living Armor, you know, that's passive supports. Carl and 23 Savage, like, you know, we've got this.
Radiant are
See
scanning.
what the next play is going to be. Potential Roshan in a minute and a half's time.
Is there anything big coming from Boom that could change? That Aghanims is completed, but that's pretty much it. Everyone else has had the same items for the longest time now. On the side of Boom. Yeah, they truly need to find the right angle. And this smoke, I'm not sure. I feel like that's what they're drawing. They're running into the enemy triangle. They're hoping for perhaps some weird pick-off. Even this tier 1 mid hasn't fallen, right? Like, you have this tier 1 tower on the mid lane and you can't smoke through there as well into the dire jungle.
And perhaps tipping off this move is the fact there's a mid creep wave at their base that's being ignored, so at some point T1 are going to see this and think, huh, you know, something fishy's going on. Let's you know, let's play it safe. Let's make sure we're grouped up and not getting picked off, because we would love to find any kills they can get to get themselves back into this game.
They are spotting them with the Hawks, so that's kind of neat. You do know where Boom is, and Boom does know where T1 are, so...
They found the OD, you mentioned the biggest target, the 2 hero X12, they stun them up both up, and with the roar, they get the confident torrent onto 3 with a ghost ship follow-up. 23 Savage is trying to turn this one around with the Overgrowth knocking down the storm. He's got it, he wants Tina on it, but Tina with the TKB has finished off the backline, going for the TP out, but he's been X'd. Brought back in, and the torrent is there. Carl making sure they get the kill. They can salvage the gem on the T1 side. It's a 3-4 trade in T1's favor, but all the big Boom heroes going down, and they don't touch Carl, they don't touch 23 Savage.
Yeah, and the OD didn't even buy back. Like, I actually expected him I expected him to lose that fight anyway, because first they're 24-5k behind, and also they're fighting under a tier 1 tower. So killing off the OD is good, but killing him under his own objective isn't that great. You can just buy back, TP in, and they win the fight even without him. Even without him buying back.
Looking good. Step lively now. Your
Mr.
admiral is on board.
Please Tip Me has thrown out the tips at Yopaj, laying out the challenge. He may have been solo killed by this storm in lane, but I think he has a pretty good idea of where he thinks this game is headed, and a Rax advantage going T1's way, and after that buyback from Yopaj where he doesn't connect and find any kills, Boom are going to be feeling like there's just so little they can do here.
Yeah, there is, what, 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining before Rush respawns. that last rush should most likely be our either the last fight or if they give Aegis and everything to T1, I really don't see the way they come back any longer. Even right now, it's difficult. Man, this
Step
Kunkai's
lively
a
now.
beast. Just
Your
look at his
admiral is on
items.
board.
There's something to be said, like Boom as a newer team, they just haven't been in a position where they've had to come back too many times. They did have that one grand final with the BBC, which was a 3-2 reverse sweep, where they, you know, had their back put against the wall a bit, but this is a different kind of story when you're up against a TI caliber team in T1.
Where's the party? Ha!
It's going from bad to worse, pick off
Step
after
lively
pick off,
now. Your
T1,
admiral is
30k
on
gold
board.
lead almost, and Roshan respawning in less than a minute.
Less than a minute for Rush. Zephyr is gonna plant his tree inside the pit, just wait it out. Also, they're killing off all the hawks that FPZ is sending that way. It just feels so bad to be FPZ. Pick him. If you check his items out, his Blink Dagger and
Not so
Helm of
safe,
Overlord.
eh?
For what? How many minutes? 20 minutes now? You finish that off and that's it. You don't
Step
really need
lively
a lot
now.
more as a
Your admiral is
Beastmaster,
on
but
board.
still.
Yeah, it's
You don't
kind of, you're
have
meant
a
to
side.
hit your power spike and make some plays though, and it feels like that just hasn't happened for Boom. They haven't managed to find any good timings to take fights. They're hoping this is one. Maybe the surprise factor, smoking on up, testing a Roshan, but we've seen time and time again, it feels like T1
Radiant
always
are scanning.
are ready for these moves.
Yeah, Carl is in front, but he does have Invaker Flicker as well. Let's see.
Carl.
Double damage.
Trying to see what he can find there, but it's 23 Savage who gets himself a double damager, and he just walked right into the Roshan pit. This is very much like lay out the challenge. Come and stop us. What are you going to do, Boom?
I think the moment you scout out that double damage, you're playing into a Kunka. Like, no. Meanwhile, FPZ, he's got
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
God. And they give the Aegis to OD. I mean, we've seen every single fight they want to start on the OD. It seems to make sense giving him an Aegis with how farmed 23 Savage is.
Yeah, I completely agree. How do you kill?
bounty.
If you don't kill the OD, he's going to save the target that you go on. So right now you can't even. Well, you can kill the OD, but he will respawn and then take the fight after.
Even has the Phoenix cap to go with it.
Are fortified.
Storm just cutting waves here in the mid lane.
How did you
Doing
pronounce
what he
it?
can.
Radiant's middle
Skating?
barracks are under attack.
I don't know.
I'm learning as well.
I don't even know what that word means, you know. I'm a college dropout here. Play video games.
Hey, I'm the same. Just trying to learn
I'm learning how to play Nina's Contra right now, because 23 Savage is just having his way with Boom. 13, 0, and 12. Cleaving through him. Critting
Radiant's
through him.
top
He
tower
is
is under
just
attack.
dominant.
And he just has to stand up front. If you go on him, he has that Satanic to work with to heal up. If he doesn't have Satanic, he has the Shield to work with. The part goes in.
All the DX swap. Yopal, they pick out the OD one, pending the OD a second time. That's a big hit. That's his support to dropping fast here on the front lines. Doesn't have a BKB anymore, so he's just going to turn and fight with the CM route. And saying the clip, she gets brought down. Tino almost on his own, trying to defend here. All the farm in the world may not be enough, but Yopaz with this Aghanim Scepter pulling in multiple Europe, but the damage just isn't there, and EA without a BKB just can't re-engage. Skems died back. 0-17 on him, unfortunately, and it's Boom
Radiant's top barracks.
who are being tested here.
Radiant's top barracks are
T1
under
just
Radiant's top
unkillable, and it's going to be just a matter of seconds now, I feel like, until those two letters come out. One last coaching for good measure. Tino gets caught in this one, and that's the Beyond Godlike streak once more. 23 Savage getting kill after kill. Flamebreaker to push back teams in the middle of this one, and T1 going to be taking this one to the bank to catch their check. And let Yopaz just say about it. He gets a nice 4 heroes. Electric Vortex, but I don't think that's enough. Not with FB going down to the front line. They are not giving up. They're fighting back. They're doing everything they can. They're down They're down 40k gold, but they're making every last bit count. The OD even keeping himself alive on a sliver of health there with that Aghanims. He gets back to safety. T1 settling, saying, okay, if they want to defend, we'll play it safe too. We don't have to end this game now if you would let us.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Yeah, they do have that X marks the spot to work with, so you can TP base, heal up, come back in. That's what they did. I think now it's a bit more safer to go close it out.
Giving C1 a chance, you know, a bit more stat padding perhaps with these kills. Bat right on the front lines gets bailed out by the Cuckoo Astro once again. Time and time again, Cuckoo is just there to make these saves. 23 Savage says enough is enough. He's just hitting the throne. Not even going for these kills, although Carl's up right here. He found the Blink Lasso, some of the Rubik. Now make it to 3 versus 5. Another 3-man ball takes the ball from FBZ. Gets the ball, gets the back runner low. Can they pick up this kill? But he gets the heals away. The Wind Waker into the defensive Astral. They get the throne, and they don't even lose any heroes in the end. T1 just styling their way to a 2-0 victory, Lizard.
Yeah, definitely. This second game